Part 1. The difference between image and character. Who you are when no one is watching is who you really are. Most people build an image. They build it carefully, the way they speak, the way they present themselves, the values they claim, the principles they publicly defend. That image is not necessarily fake, but it is incomplete, because public behavior is always influenced by observation. When others are present, reputation enters the equation. Approval matters, judgment matters, consequences matter, and those forces shape behavior. But remove the audience and something interesting happens. Behavior becomes honest, not morally honest, psychologically honest. Without witnesses, the persona relaxes, and the underlying structure appears. This is why Stoic philosophers placed enormous emphasis on private conduct. They understood something fundamental. Virtue is not proven in public performance. It is proven in unseen choices. Anyone can act disciplined when others are watching. Anyone can appear ethical when reputation is at stake. But character is measured where reputation has no influence. In quiet moments, in small decisions, in the choices no one will ever know about. From a Jungian perspective, this distinction becomes even clearer. Carl Jung described the persona as the social mask, the role you play in society, professional identity, moral identity, competent identity. The persona is necessary. It allows functioning in groups. But if the persona becomes your entire identity, you lose contact with the deeper self. And the deeper self reveals itself most clearly when the persona is unnecessary, when no one is observing. So the question becomes uncomfortable. When the mask is not required, who are you? That's where character lives. In the next part, we'll explore the tension between persona and the authentic self, and why many people never examine the gap between them. Part 2. Persona versus the real self. The persona is not a lie, it's a tool. You need it to function in society. You present a certain identity to colleagues, another to friends, another to strangers. But problems begin when the persona becomes your only reference point, when you start believing the image is the entire structure, because the persona is designed for external harmony, not internal truth. For example, you may present yourself as disciplined, but in private moments discipline disappears. You may present yourself as principled, but when no one sees, principles bend. You may present yourself as calm, but in solitude your mind is chaotic. That gap between persona and reality is where psychological tension forms. Jung warned that over-identification with the persona leads to fragmentation. The individual becomes dependent on external validation. The mask must constantly be maintained, and maintaining a mask consumes energy. That's why many people feel exhausted by their own identity. They are not just living, they are performing. The Stoics approached this differently. For them, virtue was not about appearance. Virtue was about alignment between inner conviction and outward behavior, whether observed or not. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself, "Do the right thing, even when unseen," because character does not depend on witnesses. Character is self-witnessing. If your behavior changes dramatically when observation disappears, that tells you something important. It reveals which values are internal and which values are performative. And that insight is not meant to shame you. It is meant to clarify the work, because growth begins where illusion ends. In the final part, we'll explore how to close the gap between persona and true character. Part 3. Aligning character with action. The goal is not to eliminate the persona. The goal is to reduce the distance between the persona and the real self. That distance determines integrity. Integrity is not perfection. Integrity is alignment. Here's how that alignment develops. First, observe private behavior honestly. Pay attention to moments where no one is watching. Do you keep commitments you made to yourself? Do you act with discipline when external pressure disappears? Do you treat yourself with the same standards you present to others? Private behavior is diagnostic. It reveals the current structure of your character. Second, stop performing values. Many people perform discipline. They talk about it, they post about it, they admire it. But performance is not embodiment. Embodiment appears in repetition, in actions taken without recognition. Third, build self-respect through consistency. Every time you follow through on a private commitment, you strengthen identity. Not public identity, internal identity. You become someone you trust. Self-trust is one of the most underrated forms of strength. Because when you trust yourself, you don't rely on external pressure. You act because you decided. Fourth, reduce dependence on audience. Ask yourself, would I still do this if nobody ever knew? That question exposes motivation. If the answer is no, your behavior may be reputation-driven, and reputation-driven behavior collapses when attention disappears. Finally, understand the Stoic principle of quiet virtue. The Stoics admired silent integrity, not loud morality. They believed that the best form of character does not require applause, because virtue is not performance, it is orientation. It is the steady alignment between what you believe and what you do, regardless of observation. Now here is the deeper realization. Your character is not defined by the moments everyone sees. It is defined by the thousands of moments no one sees. The small choices, the quiet discipline, the private honesty, those moments accumulate, and over time they build a structure, not an image, a structure, and that structure becomes your character. So the real question is simple, not how do people see me, but who am I when there is no audience? Because that person is the one shaping your life. If this made you reflect on your private actions, stay with that. Character is built quietly. If you want more content like this, philosophical, psychological, and focused on real self-mastery, you can follow this channel. New videos will continue exploring character, autonomy, and inner structure. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.